Hello guys, only PvP Cat is here. So today I got two builds that are pretty similar. They using Psijic abilities. It's like two build brothers, two Psijic brothers. Although one is khajit and second one is high elf somehow, but you know this khajits. Anyway, they are a bit similar. Both of them are Nightblades, and they are a bit similar in terms of skills, but they of course are different in items because one is stamina user and second one is a magica user. And this particular one is a stamina Nightblade, and so I call it stamina Psijic. This build is gonna be called stamina Psijic. So let's take a look at items first. Items are pretty standard. I'd say on the back bar I'm using Grey Sword just to buff up. And on the main bar I'm using Hunting's Rage, Golden Bow, Near Hornet, which increases our weapon damage additionally, with poison damage enchantment. But of course I'm going to use poison in PvP. So what does Hunting's Rage give us? It's a pretty standard crafted set for PvP. It gives us weapon critical, max stamina, weapon critical again, and for 5 pieces it adds 300 weapon damage. So I'm using bow, jack, legs and feet. All medium, except for the bow, of course. It's kinda wooden. Then second set is a new one, not that new, but from Somerset. It called Slods, whatever it means, and what it does, it gives us magica stamina, weapon damage and spell damage, which is spell damage is useless, but weapon damage is cool. And for 5 pieces, it gives us 10% chance to fire some Shadow Pearl at enemy, which applies dot that deals 879 oblivion damage any second for 6 seconds, which is awesome in PvP. But while I was testing, for some reason it deals only 814 oblivion damage each second, but whatever. Maybe I have to make all items golden to reach this number. It's a cool set, it helps finish people a lot, this dot. Since this build is about single target damaging, you will apply this debuff, not debuff but damage over time, a lot on your targets. So I'm using hands, waist and 3 jewelry. Jewelry is one of them is gold, is green. I haven't had enough materials to make them all purple. On all of them I'm using weapon damage enchantment, and 2 with max stamina, and 1 with jewelry enchantment increasing, which adds us 100 weapon damage. I don't know if it's that great. I'm looking to change it into Bloodthirsty and try. It's probably gonna be better. As a monster set, I'm using weird one for Nightblades. It's a slimmer claw. It gives us additional spell weapon critical, and for 2 items it gives us minor berserk all the time, increasing damage done by 8%. And you'll say, but come on, you have this minor berserk from Relentless Focus. But I'm not using Relentless Focus in this build because I'll tell you later in a skill session why. Anyway, I'm using 6 pieces of medium and 1 piece of heavy on the shoulders, just to add a bit of health and survivability. And mostly I'm enchanting with max stamina and critical resistance. So skills, let's start with buff bar, as I call it, second bar. I'm using two-handed weapon here. So first skill is rally. It's a great way to get weapon damage by gaining a major brutality for 33 seconds and additional heal. So it's one of the best ways to get major brutality for Nightblade, I guess. Second one is Leech and Strike. So we have to somehow get some stamina back, and since we light attacking a lot, I found this pretty useful. And also it kinda heals you. Third one is a Mirage. It's a great way to use some of your magica. It gives us major evasion, increasing dodge chance, and also some physical and spell resistance buff. Small one, but still cool. Third one is Resolving Vigor. Must have heal in PvP, and probably in PvE, I don't know. Heals are good anyway. It heals yourself for 11k and allies for 8.5k over 5 seconds. And the last one is a Psijic skill, Channeled Acceleration. And it gives us Major Expedition for 9 seconds and the sweet one, Minor Force for 36 seconds. For those who don't know, this Minor Force increases our critical damage by 10%, and you know it stacks with Nightblade passive from, let me show from Assassination skill line that will increase our critical damage by 10% additionally. So it gives us, when we have one assassination ability slotted, at least one, it gives us with the skill additional 20% damage to our critical strikes, and we're gonna crit strike a lot. And last one is ulti from Siphonian skill line. It's Soul Siphon. It heals us and team. I found it extremely useful in PvP to survive. And I'm not that much of using it all the time. I mostly use ulti from main bar, but this one is good when you need to survive a little bit more. Okay, let's talk about main bar skill. First one I'm using is Piercing Mark. It's a questionable. At first I was using Relentless Focus, and of course with Relentless Focus I was using different monster set. But then I found that there are a hell lot of Nightblades nowadays in Battlegrounds, and Piercing Mark just makes them die all the time. It's situational. If you see that there are not that many Nightblades in your games, well, then Relentless Focus is a good choice. Anyway, I'm using it. It applies Major Fracture, decreasing resistance, and also your target can't go on stealth. That's why it's good against Nightblades, of course. Second skill is Poison Injection. Is a must-have when you're using bow, I guess. It deals poison damage and applies dot. That is also an executioner. It deals more damage while target are on a low health. Second one is a Shadow of Disguise. It makes you invisible for 3 seconds, and also next attack will be critical strike. But another great benefit from the skill is Shadow Line passive. It's when we cast in Shadow ability, and this is a Shadow ability, we get Major Ward for 6 seconds, and additional for each piece of heavy armor equipped. So with even one piece of heavy armor we get 7.5 seconds of increased spell and physical resistance. And of course it's like the best way for us to sustain, to survive in the fight, because people don't really gonna be follow you once you go in this and slowly running away. It's in my experience, so I use it to survive. Okay, and the skill that is this build is all about is Psijic skill, Crushing Weapon. It's Ambue weapon morph. It lets our light attack deal additional physical damage and also heals you for like a quarter of the damage done. Not too much, but okay, especially with rally. So with some heal you have all the time, and I'm using this this skill a lot, and I'm gonna later tell you how exactly. And maybe if you're interested, you can see video. I made a small video about this particular build, and not this build, but this particular skill and how I use it. Anyway, last one is Camouflage Hunter. It's rather passive, as I always see it. It increases your weapon critical rating, and also gives you main berserk after you deal critical damage from sneak, minor berserk, but you won't do sneak too much in battlegrounds. And since I have this piercing mark, I won't use it to reveal invisible enemies as well. Last one is an ultimate ballista, bow ultimate. It's a good one, and the way I use it is first I use piercing mark on a target, and then I throw this ballista, and most of the time it will finish your target while you are hiding in the shadows, you know. So about passives, so we get all the passives we can. Passives are always good. Most important are of course class passives, weapon passive from bow, armor passive, and fighters and Psijic passives. If you have enough, you get Alliance War passives too. So the race of this dude is of course khajit. We got sweet crits and some stamina recovery, and that's it about skills. A few words about how do we play it. At first we buff up, and then we switch to main bar and starting to attack with Ambue weapon. And of course don't forget to apply poison arrow and mark people, it will help finishing them a lot. But few words I have to say about how I use this Ambue weapon skill. I made a short video about this, but in case you don't want to see it, I'll say here. So I found that this Ambue weapon additional damage will apply to your arrow, to your shot, even while it's in the air. If it haven't hit your target yet, and then you use it, it will apply. So the way I'm using it, I'm firing the shots, and if I see that they hit, then I'm only press Ambue weapon button. It's more effective. It's an interesting new way to play. I would say even new mechanics. I can't remember skill like this. It takes a bit of time to get used to, but with that your damage to solo targets is insane. Yeah, that's it. So when we have a ballista, we just mark target using ballista. It will finish a person off a lot. If we are under pressure, we're trying to go in with and change our locations. Not always gonna happen. It's a glass cannon after all, but it makes it so fun to play. About Cyrodiil, it's good in Cyrodiil, surprisingly good. So solo target damage is great, and if you manage to sneak and then fire your Ambue weapon, it will make people hurt. Yeah. So that's it about this build. And about the build of Magica Nightblade that I was talking at the beginning of the video, I haven't finished it yet because it takes a ton of time to max up your Magica guild skill line on Xbox One, because finding these books is kinda pain in the ass. But so far this build plays great, even without finished Magica Magic Guild skill line, and it's a bit similar to this build, but you also can really effectively heal. It's surprising how good Mage Blades healers are, especially for solo healing. When you heal a solo target, single target, it's really good. Yeah, anyway, I'm going to finish it this week, so if you're interested, watch for updates. If you like this video, press like button, subscribe, maybe I have some more interesting builds and ideas incoming. Thank you for watching this, and see ya guys, goodbye.